I'm going to succeed. It's this period. Okay, last we left off on number 13 of our semester exam study guide. I've got some E to B points to give out to begin with. Our next test is when?
Friday.
I heard it from 2 and 5.
Oh.
Hang on a point. The quadratic formula is on the next test. Vertex form, which is what we discussed yesterday, is on the next test. There's something else on the next test as well that people keep forgetting about. 5 gets another point. Leave this there. Oh, how lovely. Yeah, if you don't actually know the quadratic formula, then it's not as easy as it seems anymore. There was something else I was going to say. No songs. Oh, many people are still missing the quiz on completing the square and quadratic formula or their math workshop test. I'm typing in the zeros for that at the end of this week. I think I said Friday, but I think I need to do it Thursday or maybe sooner because their Saturday school is Saturday and I got to make recommendations and why they just have decided their Saturday school Saturday. I don't know. I digress. I'm live, so I would hold it all in. Hold it in. Be like Elsa. Let it go. Oh, I thought you had. Okay, so we're doing 13 through 29 today, and we're going to go pretty fast. So if there's one you're confused about or want some clarification on, please just ask. 29. We be adventurous. Okay, 13. Does anyone already know the answer to 13? No. Okay, you subtracted 10 from both sides. You had absolute value x minus 3 is equal to negative 8. Absolute values can't equal a negative number, so the answer is D. This would have been a nice one. 14, we start doing inequalities. There's a ton of inequalities on the study guide, which implies to me there are quite a few on the semester exam. It says negative 2.3 is less than 4 plus 0.9y. I'm going to move the y to the left side and the numbers to the right side. So I'm going to put negative 0.9, you can have a 0.9y minus 2.3 is less than 4. I'm going to add 2.3, so negative 0.9y is less than 6.3. Again, I move the y to the left, move the numbers to the right. When I divide by that negative 0.9, I've got to remember something important, which is you got to flip the sign. So the answer is A. 5 gets a point. Did I already give you a point for it? For knowing to flip the side. There was one answer choice that I was guessing. Which I don't guess. I actually work math out and then make an answer choice. Because unlike the ACT, if you want to take your sweet, sweet time and spend 4 hours on the semester exam, I'll allow it. I don't care. You can have as long as you want. It is. I know there's like a time of this is when we're taking it, but I'll let you sit all day if you want. But there is a bad choice on 14. What is the bad answer choice? D is definitely the bad one. I don't know why you would pick that. It's weird looking. I guess it's all real numbers, but... Okay, 15. 2x minus 5 is less than or equal to 10. 33 minus 4x is less than 5. We've got to deal with both of these inequalities. If I add 5, I'll have 2x is less than or equal to 15. So x is less than or equal to 15 over 2. While I prefer fractions in life, it is useful to know that 15 over 2 is 7.5. On the other side, when I subtract 33, I'll have 5 minus 33, which is negative 28. When I divide by that negative 4, I've got to flip my sign, so I'll have x is greater than 7. So I know that x is less than 15 over 2, and x is greater than 7. So which answer choice should I put? I'm going to put C, because, so x is bigger than 7, but it's less than 7.5. So it's between 7 and 7.5, which is letter choice C. My key is wrong. My key says B, but this is definitely not B. No way. $16 wants us to solve this inequality. I did. I should have done this. Thank you. You didn't apologize. $16. You might want to put a star by when we had these. And again, this is all stuff from August. I get us in November, so I'm wanting you to go way back in your brain. I know. You believe math, you're just supposed to remember it forever? Terrible. When we used to work problems like this, yes, we need to get y by itself, so we're going to subtract 1. But we have to subtract 1 from everybody. So we'll have -4 less than or equal to 2y less than or equal to 8. So I put a star by this one because most people forget you're supposed to do it to everybody. So when I divide by 2, I'm going to divide everybody by 2. So I've got -2 is less than or equal to y is less than or equal to 4. So the answer is D. $17. If I guessed, I would guess the right answer. If you had to guess, what answer would you guess? Why would you guess C? And that's why 2 gets a point. I'm telling you, I do need a stamp that says absolute value problems are supposed to have 2 answers. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and subtract 8 from both sides. So I'm going to have absolute value 3x minus 6 is greater than or equal to 9. I'm going ahead and subtract 8. 17 minus 8 is 9. But from here, I have 2 cases. I don't know if that inside stuff really is bigger than or equal to 9. And here's the reason you might want to put a star by this problem. I don't know if that inside stuff, something with a -9, and we actually flip the inequality. I'm not sure if the inside stuff is bigger than +9 or if it's less than or equal to -9. When I solve, I'll have 3x is greater than or equal to 15. So x is greater than or equal to 5. With this one, I'll have 3x is less than or equal to -3. So x is less than or equal to -1. So Daniel is right. The answer is C. Again, I had a feeling it was going to be C to begin with because absolute value problems, unless they're tricking you and they set it equal to a negative or do something really weird, absolute value problems are supposed to have 2 answers because the inside stuff, the 3x minus 6, was it equal to a +9 or a -9 to begin with? We don't know. That's why we got to evaluate both cases. Are there any questions on 17? I think that's one of the hardest ones today. Okay, 18. I have 3 absolute value m minus 4 is greater than 6. I remember what the other question was. If you're exempt from the semester exam, do you have to complete the study guide? Yes, every group can have a point. It's going in the 30% category. It's a 124-point grade. I'm going over all the answers during math workshop, as you can tell. I divide everybody by 3. I have absolute value m minus 4 is greater than 2. Again, I've got to consider 2 cases in life. It might be m minus 4 is greater than 2. However, it might also be m minus 4 is less than -2. And the inside chunk, the m minus 4, could be greater than 2, or the inside chunk could be less than -2. So I get m is greater than 6, and I get m is less than 2. So I'm going to select B as my answer. Any questions on 18? Okay, then let's roll on 19. Is where first period almost broke my heart, but I'm sure you won't. It says find the range of the relation and then determine whether the relation is a function. What's range? X values or Y values? Yeah, range is supposed to be Y, and for some reason there were some in there who said X. Domain goes with X's. Range goes with y's. So literally I'm looking at the y values of these ordered pairs. So it's 3, 3, 5. So it's either going to be C or D. Now I've just got to decide function or not a function. Why is it not a function? Is that why it's not a function? The repetition in the y values.
It's the negative ones.
It's the negative ones, the x values, 2 and 4, your point. And if you've forgotten, that was onto, Karen. You're doing onto. Onto was the y's. We did the thing with the y's, but it was onto. Again, that was a long time ago. Negative 2 is going to 3. Negative 1 is going to 3. But negative 1 is also going to 5. We can't have an input going to 2 different outputs. It gets confusing. It's like when you go to the drink machine and you press the button for Coke. Only a Coke is supposed to come out. If it gives you 2 things, then the machine, you're happy with the machine malfunction, right? It wasn't a function then. We need it to function properly and give us the 1 drink we pressed. It's giving you 2. It did not function.
I'd still be happy though.
You'd still be happy.
But if I screwed this up, then I get it wrong, so I wouldn't.
Yes. So are you happy? Is it really? So 19 is D. What is 20? Why?
Because it's a circle. Like, it was okay.
2 and 5 get a point. It fills that vertical line test, yes, at 2 different spots. A circle is always a go-to for not a function. I don't know why that's like your favorite graph to pick in life. 21 through 23 are so much fun. So everywhere we see x, we're supposed to replace it with whatever's in parentheses. So 21 says f at negative 1. So it used to be x squared, now it's negative 1 squared. It used to be minus 6x, now it's minus 6 times negative 1 over negative 1 plus 2. Why do you think they chose for us to plug in a negative 1? Yes, and that's exactly what's going to happen. So negative 1 squared is positive 1. Negative 6 times negative 1 is positive 6. The denominator is 1. So we get 7 if we worked it out correctly. But if you made a sign error like Ellie's suggesting, and that's why she's going to get a point, you might have gotten a negative 6, which is how you would have gotten A of negative 5 as your final answer. Or you could have messed up the negative 1 squared and gotten a negative 1 there and ended up getting the wrong answer. Genuinely, it's again, they're just checking, like, can you keep up with your signs? That's why 22 is a whole bunch easier. Because it was t squared minus 2t minus 2. Gentle reminder of if you were one of the lucky souls getting to take semester exam, if you're confused about an exponent, because that 2 is super tiny, you are I'd be more than happy to answer that for you. 0 squared minus 2 times 0 minus 2, I end up just getting a negative 2, which is D. I'm not going to give you a point for that one, because that one was pretty easy. Alright, I'm willing to give a point for 23. 2 and 5. I did. So it says f at a, so everywhere I used to see a t, I put an a. So 2a squared minus a minus 2. So I knew it wasn't a, b, or d, because I thought I was replacing all the t's with a's. If I am really replacing all the t's with a's, then why do a, b, and d all have t's in their answer? If it says f at cupcake, then everywhere you see whatever the variable is, you put cupcake. We took that. We got to deal with that very seriously. Are there any questions about those? Those should seem pretty familiar. Here's where life suddenly becomes a little trouble. We have trouble remembering English. 24. Point for you, it is C. So 24 asks, so 24, 25, 26 are asking about whether or not a given equation is linear. I know A is not linear because that's an inequality. I know B is not linear because that's a quadratic, or, we've been dealing with parabolas for a while now. I think we should identify them. And then D has the same issue because of that squared. So it had to be C, y equals 3. And that one, I think, was kind of obvious, whereas 25, not so obvious. We have rules for things to be linear. More specifically, we had things we were looking for. We know it's not linear if we see, we had a list of 2 things mostly we were checking. It's not going to be linear if we have an exponent higher than 1. Linear stuff is just to the first power. So if we have anything higher than 1, it's not going to be linear. So what extra choice can I eliminate? B's out. And there was something else we checked with linear. We can't have variables touching. So it can't be D. But I'm going to phrase it differently. I'm going to knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. Thank you, Jax. You know, point for that. Variable, or S, it can be variable or variables, can't be in the denominator. We had a whole big thing about variables can't be in the denominator. So it's not A. 2 did end up getting the point all along. Jax is right, we can't have the 2 variables multiplying, but if we normally put it y equals whatever, because we're going to graph it. We want to put it in y equals mx plus b. If I had tried to get y by itself, I would have ended up with y equals 4 over 3x, which is again that issue of a variable in the denominator. So if Jax recognizes it, great. If you manipulate it and then realize, hey, still not going to work, that's great too. If you got super fancy on me, you could always solve out C. If you divide it by 2, you'd have y equals 2x minus 1 over 4, all divided by 2. You end up getting y equals 2x minus 1 over 8. Which, if we broke that down into y equals mx plus b, would be y equals 1/4 x minus 1/8. Now, do I actually expect you to do all that jazz? Heck no. But, since I'm already on the problem, might as well do all the math I can. Okay, 26, we're having this same debate. It has to be B. It can't be C or D because they have those exponents larger than 1. It can't be A because those 2 variables multiply together. We would end up having a variable in the denominator. It is B, but I don't even have to think through my... So 25 was the hardest of the 3. 26 is a little easier because I recognize its form. What form is 26 in? Yes, 2 gets another point. We are automatically in standard form. Did we know standard form with linear stuff? Ax plus by equals c. Speaking of standard form, have you read 27? It says standard form, so there's 28. So it's like they just naturally progress to that. Are there any questions about 24, 25, 26? Those are the ones that would be most forgetful for me, because that was, I don't know. I can BS my way through an equation. Coming up with why something's supposed to be linear, I don't know. 27. I heard B, I heard C, I heard A. There are 2 answer choices I'm going to eliminate because they're not standard form. C and D aren't standard form. 5 gets the point. C and D aren't standard. C is slope-intercept. Y equals mx plus b. I don't know what D is, but it's not standard. We need to have standard, as you recall. It's ax plus by equals c. You think it's what? So it's either A or B. Which one would it become? Wouldn't it become negative?
Oh, wow.
So it's A. Jax, you can have a point. Okay, so we had this, and Jax is right. If we rearranged it and we put the x in front, we would have negative 4x plus y equals 7. That almost looks like standard form. And to the naked eye, that is standard form. And you're like, well, I'm really annoyed because that's not one of my answer choices. Well, the truth is you've forgotten we had some rules with standard form. The A cannot be negative. So we're having a problem with that negative 4. Can't be negative. So we would have to multiply everybody by negative 1 and change everyone's sign. So it's 4x minus y equals negative 7. So it is A. But the fact that he remembered that, very impressive. Okay, 28's along the same lines. X plus 2 equals 1/5 y. They want us to put it in standard form. I'm going to move the y over, move the 2 over, so I'm going to have x minus 1/5 y equals negative 2. So my gut said, hey, I've got negative 1/5. Negative 1/5 is an answer. That's what I'm going with. And that would be wrong. Why is the answer not B? B, I mean, 2 can have a point. We were very picky with standard form. Not only could A not be negative, but we couldn't have any fractions involved with A and B. So that 1/5 is an issue. We need to get rid of the fractions, so let's multiply everybody by that denominator. We'll have 5x minus y equals negative 10. That's what standard form was supposed to look like. A positive A, we got nice, pretty numbers. So the answer is A, negative 1. Did they put the answer you got wanted to go with for fun? Sure did. Math teachers. I thought 29 was the easiest of the day, and then first period happened. X-intercepts and y-intercepts. You could plug them in. Any other suggestions how to find an x-intercept or y-intercept? Jax, I don't think I've ever loved you more than I love you today. And I normally love you. Not that I don't love everyone, of course, all the time. But, yes, Jax, you can have 2 points for that. And Daniel, you can have 1. Because I'm going to do your way, but his way's faster. Okay, so most of us are like Daniel. We see this. We don't remember there's a trick. And I'm glad he got to this because first period couldn't come up with it. I got that handy-dandy graphing calculator. If I put this in y equals mx plus b, I can graph it in my calculator and then see where those 2 zeros occur, those intercepts. So I subtract 3x, I'll have negative 2y equals negative 3x plus 12. I divide by negative 2, so I've got y equals 3/2 x minus 6. Daniel can graph this in his calculator and figure out the answer from there. I don't disagree. But Jax is completely correct, and to be much simpler, the x-intercepts happen when y is 0. So literally, if we plugged in a 0 for y, we would have 3x equal to 12, so x equals 4. So the x-intercept is 4. The y-intercepts happen when x equals 0. So if I plug in a 0 for x, I'll have negative 2y equals 12, so y equals negative 6. Jax doesn't have to graph anything, he didn't have to deal with fractions, nothing. He already knows the intercepts are 4 and negative 6. And then, even though Jax is genius, and his way in pink is easiest, and no one else in, well, it's only been first period. Maybe third period will come up with it too. First period looked at me like, we ain't never done this in our lives. So thank God Jax remembered that. I was questioning my sanity today. I needed that. I know the answer choice isn't C. Because Jack says the numbers are 4 and -6, and that's not what C is. But how do I eliminate the others? Okay, Daniel is right in his own little genius way. So it said specifically, and literally they're being this picky. They said the word x-intercept first. X-intercept was 4. The y-intercept was said second, so that's -6. So the order matters in the answer choices because it's telling you x-intercept 4, y-intercept -6. So it's not D because D is implying, so it's either A or B. I'm going to break your hearts. It's B. That's exactly it. It's not A. A is an ordered pair. The parentheses beware is saying that the intercept is happening at the point 4, -6. Is the intercept happening at the point 4, -6? No. The x-intercept's happening at 4, 0. The y-intercept's happening at 0, -6. The second we put those parentheses like they did in A, it's implying it's happening at the point 4, -6. They genuinely have tricked you. My God, if there's one like that on the semester exam, I'm going to have to count both answer choices as right, because that's too deep for us. Too deep. Too deep today. Too deep. I say that's too deep, and then let me tell you our next goal. No. So we're starting 30 tomorrow. I would love to go all the way until 46. 30 through 46. That's how far I would like to go. Doesn't sound that terrible. Maybe it can happen. Okay, get out your notes from yesterday. Today they're really fast, if I can just use my words quickly, which I hopefully can. Although that took up a lot of time. We talked yesterday about vertex form, which, if we're being honest, the hardest thing we've talked about so far in this section is completing the square. I think vertex form is a little easier than completing the square. I like vertex form, but the easiest of them all is definitely quadratic formula. I agree. But you and I both know if a problem says solve by completing the square and use quadratic formula, I'm not going to give you all the points. Were there any questions on vertex form from yesterday? Other than poor Ryan who missed it all. Okay. He'll get it. He's got this. Okay, next page is what we're doing today. So finally, we're going to figure out why vertex form is useful. Because vertex form can help us graph quickly. So I'm going to make the list we were making yesterday. We wanted to know the vertex, the axis of symmetry, the shape, and the direction. What is the direction on number 5? It is going up. Shape, are we being made any skinnier or any fatter? Are we?
No, there's just a 1.
There's just a 1 in front, so no, we don't really need that. Again, if you need a reminder, it looks like ax minus h squared plus k. What we're saying is if there's a number in front, if it's a 1/2 or a fraction, it's going to make you fatter. If it's a whole number, it makes you skinnier. Since it's just a 1, nothing's changing. So shapes stay the same. What's my vertex? The vertex. You can have your point. Daniel knows he messed it up. It's the opposite sign for the x. So even though it was a -5, our vertex is at +5. So genuinely from here, we're just going to go to 5, 3. 1, 2, 3. I've plotted my vertex. And you're like, oh, Miss Compton, you know your axis of symmetry. It's 5. I mean, we could try to make this really complicated if we wanted to. And I am going to give an easy solution if you're still stuck at the end of the day. But seriously, since the shape is staying the same, I know that 1 squared is 1, so over 1 up 1. And I know that a parabola is symmetric, so I go over 1 up 1 on each side. I know that 2 squared is 4, so over 2 up 1, 2, 3, 4. And I could, I mean, you can. And I could even go over 3 up 9, because 3 squared is 9 if I only had the room, but I don't. When you connect the dots, and mine's not necessarily a good one to reference, because I stink at connecting dots sometimes. When you connect the dots, be careful. Make sure you're getting that U shape, that parabola shape, and not a V like an absolute value. So seriously, I put my vertex. Because my shape is not affected, I can go over 1 up 1, over 2 up 4, over 3 up 9, over 4 up 16. I'm just going up by perfect squares because 3 squared is 9, 2 squared is 4. And so just knowing that one point, I can graph the whole thing from there. You know, I will tell you all the key to life right now. You can always, no one's going to stop you. Even though I'm going over an easy, fast way to graph it today, no one's ever taking this away from Nick. He can still graph that, parentheses and all, in his calculator. He will still get the correct graph. He can still press trace, second calculate, table, anything he wants to do to end up still plotting it correctly. And at the end of the day, when I grade Nick's test, and it's problems like this, it says graph each function, I'm just going to see, did he graph it? Now, is my way going to be easier? Absolutely. But if he doesn't understand what on earth I'm doing, there's no need for him to miss these problems because he can still graph it in his calculator and just transcribe it to his paper. But seriously, Nick's not going to bother because this is easy. He's got this. I need to know the vertex, the axis of symmetry, the shape. Say it again, Ellie. She said it before you. There's an understood 0 out there for that y. My axis of symmetry is -3. My shape's not affected because it's an understood -1 out front. My direction is down. 2 gets a point. So I go to -3, 0. My axis of symmetry is at -3. It's going down, so when I go over 1 instead of going up 1, I go over 1, down 1. When I go over 2 instead of going up 4, I go over 2, down 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I have enough room to even go over 3, down 9. I do. But again, Nick is getting concerned about this counting strategy I'm using. He can always graph it with his graphing calculator. Get some ordered pairs from his table of values. Plot those points. Connect the dots. Call it a day. Are there any questions about number 6? Okay, let's bring that same list on number 7. I want to know the vertex. You can have your point, Ellie. My axis of symmetry is therefore -7. My shape is still not affected, so I'm really annoyed with the problems today. I wish there was a 2 or something out front so we could talk about, instead of it being over 1 up 1, over 2 up 4, it's over 1 and then 1 times 2 is 2. Over 2 and then 4 times 2 is 8. But we did that with absolute value, so if you recall that counting strategy, it's still effective. What?
It's up.
Because it's a positive in front. Oh, yeah. So -7, -4. Again, it's an easy count because that shape is not changed. So I'm over 1 up 1, over 2 up 1, 2, 3, 4. I was going to go over 3 up 9, but I don't have enough room on the left. I could on the right. Honestly, once you've done like 3 points, you can really call it a day. I like to do 5 when I'm trying to be real picky, but 3 is enough. I mean, look, it's not like I'm going to send mine off to be framed. Do the best you can. As long as I look to see, do you have the vertex right? Did you count at least 2 points correctly? And then as long as nothing insane happened on your graph, we're good to go. Are there any questions about number 7? Our last one for the day is number 8. Again, it is annoying. Why am I annoyed by this problem? And there's not. And I really wanted there to be a number in the front to affect the shape. So, you know what? Because I do want to do one with the shape, I am going to put a 2 in the front. So I'm going to change it to -2. And I'm going to change the vertex and everything. Because honestly, that one's going to go off the graph. My vertex is 1, -2. You can have a point for that. My axis of symmetry is 1. My shape is going to be affected by that -2. It does get skinnier. 3 gets the point. Or stretched if you'd rather be more mathematical. And my direction is down, so you can have another. Okay, the reason I'm changing it up is that way we at least practice one that's not your normal old count. So I do go to 1, -2. And my axis of symmetry is still 1. And I am going down. But instead of over 1, down 1, over 2, down 4, over 3, down 9, that's not going to work because that 2 in front. So I'm going to multiply everybody by 2. I was going to go over 1, down 1, but 1 times 2 is 2. So instead I'm going to go over 1, down 1, 2. So if it was a 3 in front, I would go over 1, down 3. If it was a 4 in front, I'd go over 1, down 4. If it was a fraction, like 1/2, I'd go over 1, down 1/2. So over 1, down 2 on both sides, because thank God parabolas are symmetric. I was going to go over 2, down 4, but instead, 2 times 4 is 8, so I'm going to go over 2, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because of that 2 out front, so I was going to go over 2 and then down 4, but 4 times 2 is 8, so I'm going to go over 2, down 8. So if it had been a 3 out front, instead of going over 2, down 4, I would have gone over 2, down 12, because 4 times 3 is 12. If it had been a 1/2 out front, instead of going over 2, down 4, I'd gone over 2, and then 4 times 1/2 is 2. I take whatever that coefficient is and multiply it times my number. Connect your dots, call it a day. I gave you some more workbook problems. I'm guessing you're packing, because I'm guessing I talked way too much, didn't I? It happens. Okay, I have things to show you if I have any time. I do have a few. Good. Yeah, I think you have to read a graph in your workbook. You seriously could do those in like 5 seconds. If you